All right, so electricity is another um, energy source that's in the environment that can potentially be picked up by animals. So there are different ways that animals have an electric sense. So there are fishes that have can sense electric fields. And actually, even duck-billed platypus can sense electric fields with its bill. So that the advantage of that is that you can sense your prey because your prey has moving muscles, and muscles, when they're moving, generates an electric field. So even if the animal itself is not moving, it's still breathing, its heart is still beating, so there's still muscles contracting and relaxing. Other animals can both create an electric field and detect it. And that actually gives you some more possibilities. Having an electric sense has evolved independently several times in different groups of fishes. It usually evolves in fishes that live in very murky water where your sense of vision doesn't help you very much because, when water's murky, you really can't see any distance in it at all. One of the constraints is that if you're going to have an electric sense, you can't be wiggling your body back and forth because that keeps distorting the electric field around your body. So you usually electric fishes hold their body kind of ramrod straight. They don't swim like a normal fish does. They swim by moving their fins, but they don't move their body. So in animals that have can generate an electric field, they have electric organs, and the electric organs really are just modified muscles because you know that in muscles you're dumping ions, moving ions within those muscle cells, and so you've got charges moving around. Well, that's going to create an electric field. So these electric organs are modified muscles that don't contract but still move the ions around. And you can see kind of where they are. They're in the shaded areas here. So the weakly electric fishes tend to have really small areas where they've got the electric organs, and strongly electric fishes have, much larger electric organs, not too surprisingly. So there are several things that an electric sense can do for you. It can help you navigate when you can't see. If you can both create and sense an electric field, that's a channel of communication that's open to you. So, fishes actually use it to communicate with each other, that various things. Also, we talked about locating prey, and there's a couple of ways you can do that. If you can just detect an electric field, prey have muscles that contract and relax, and that creates a changing electric field that you're going to be able to pick up. But also, if you can create your own electric field as well as sense it, anything that's moving in that electric field that you're creating is going to distort the field. So you can sense it that way. It's a little bit like a radar system. And for animals that are strongly electric, they can actually use it to stun prey directly. And there was actually a new function of this of having an electric organ that has just recently come out, where there are some animals that have electric organs that use them not to stun their prey, but to basically create enough of basically a shock that it forces the animal to move, and then when it moves, they can tell that it's there and they can catch it. So they're kind of taking over the muscles of their prey by using the electric field that they themselves are generating. So elasmobranchs can sense electric fields, and if you look around the head of a shark, now a lot of what you're seeing here is lateral line, which we've talked about, but all these little pores that you're seeing within the lateral line are ampullae of Lorenzini, and these are electric sensors. So they've got them around their heads because if there's some prey species, buried in the sand, obviously they're going to grab it with their mouths. So you need to have those sensory structures clustered near your head because that's where you really need that information. So to locate prey, um, you can just use passive detection of the prey's electric field to be able to tell that it's there. Or you can generate your own electric field. And those two things are really pretty different. If you look at an electric fish that's generating its own electric field, like I say, it's almost like having like radar around the body of the animal, because it's generating this electric field. Anything that enters that electric field is going to distort it. If it's a good conductor, it's going to distort it in one way. If it's a bad conductor, it's going to distort it in another way, but it's going to distort it. So the fish is actually going to get not only know that there's something there, but also get some information about what the object is, based on how the electric field is being distorted. Another sensory modality is the ability to detect mechanical vibration. So if you're going to detect mechanical vibration in a fluid, so air or water, you need some special sensory structures to be able to do that. But if you're just talking about mechanical vibration because something is in contact with the animal, probably all animals except sponges can detect that just using their sense of touch, that something's against them moving. Now, we've talked about the lateral line system a little bit. Fish have this lateral line system. It's a canal that's open to the water. So here's the pores that lead out to the water. This is outside the animal. This is the canal of the lateral line. And inside the lateral line, you've got clusters of hair cells or neuromast cells. These are sensory cells that will generate an action potential when the hairs are bent. And there are different ones. There are some that take a lot more energy to bend the hairs than others. So the fish is getting information about how strong the movement is in the water, the pressure wave is in the water, based on how many of those hair cells get mobilized to generate action potentials. So anything that's moving water around a fish, the fish is going to be able to pick that up using its lateral line system. And it's really kind of hard to imagine what that must be like for the fish. Now, the sense that this is most closely related to in animals that live in air is their sense of hearing, although it's probably not much like the sense of hearing. It's probably more of being able to, more like a sense of touch. You're just being able to kind of feel how the water is moving around you. So it's hard to imagine, but there's some similarities between this and hearing, which makes us think that this is a sense that's pretty closely tied to hearing in land vertebrates.